Hello everyone, welcome back to Geoguessr Explained. Today we are doing the play along once again. The links for today's episode and tomorrow's episode's games will be in the description, so if you want to play along, see your own name on the game, then go ahead and do that before you watch the video. Otherwise, let's get straight into things here, which is Diverse World for the first map here, so let's check out what we got going on here. First round, very interesting. I feel like I've had it before, but regardless, this is very distinctly two countries possible here, so let's take a look around and see what we think. Yeah, so there's actually a number of clues for the country here, I would say. First things first, we got a lot of this red brick architecture, which is definitely indicative of what you see very often in Bolivia and then quite often in Peru as well. You also do see similar houses in like Ecuador, Colombia as well, I think. But this landscape definitely feels more kind of cold, high altitude stuff that you'd see in this kind of Peru, Bolivia area, especially because of the lack of trees. Then we also have what looks to be some traditional like Bolivian, Peruvian dress here with like the kind of wide skirt and definitely like the Aboriginal people there have black hair as well, so that definitely checks out with what I'm seeing her wearing. Then also we do have all white road lines, which you can see in both countries. So like particularly in Argentina, but then also Bolivia and Peru, you can see all white road lines decently commonly. So yeah, and also maybe Mexico as well as another country that fits into that bill. But yeah, definitely less common to see that. You'd normally see a yellow line here, for example. We have a bit of blue on the number plate here. Blue text on the number plate is Bolivia rather than Peru, so I'm definitely leaning this side of the border here. And is there anything else to say? We can look for like Peruvian electricity counters, which have a particular look about them. I don't see any here. Yeah, that's different to a Peruvian one, which would have like a square thing, and it would be a bit more narrow as well. So yeah, definitely sure that this is Peru, and it feels probably like this side of the border here, somewhere like along here. I'm not sure where you have like a north ridge, maybe this kind of exact area here, where we can definitely see a north ridge. We can look at road angle here as well. I'm not really interested in getting the full 5K here, but say we were running through this town, I mean, that would be theoretically possible. Although it looks like we're on a yellow road rather than a white road here. So can I actually find it? Maybe not. Maybe instead I would just I'll opt for one of these roads here then. We'll see if I'm right. Other possibilities can be anywhere in this kind of like southern, more dry half of the country. But yeah, red brick, bluish number plate, and well, this light bulb's interesting, but yeah, and also then the traditional dress over here should all indicate for Bolivia. So let's see if I'm right about that, and we were just on this road instead. Not too bad. Let's move on to the next round here. So on round number 2 here, we have a fairly obvious country shout here, but let's run through why, and hopefully I can figure out exactly what state it is as well. So first things first, we got yellow outside lines. So yellow outside lines indicating Middle East or Southern Africa. This should be Southern Africa because of the landscape being very green. Then we do indeed have a blue car with an antenna. Out of the Southern African countries, South Africa at this stage is the only one with that. This is also, if you are playing NMPZ or something, this is what they do in South African guardrails, where this white and red kind of triangular thing. You won't see that elsewhere, or like you won't see it outside of Southern Africa. So yeah, should be pretty a good tip there. We also have the triangular sign, so we can never confuse this with Australia because we don't use these ones over in Australia. So yeah, triangular versus diamond. And then we're just looking at the landscape here and poles. So I think this pole here with this metal sheet running over the top is very common in the state of KwaZulu-Natal, which is what Durban is in. So the Durban state definitely using this particular pole with the trident and the metal thing on top. Can we see another example of that? This one doesn't have it. This one is another example of that metal sheet running over the top. So yeah, I would say we're going to be there. There are similar poles elsewhere, but yeah, I would say KwaZulu-Natal definitely fitting the best here. Then I think like also this like hill kind of feels a bit Lesotho as well, which you can use for like getting around Lesotho. If it kind of looks like Lesotho, that definitely fits. It's quite green here. I was thinking near Pietermaritzburg, but kind of like in that kind of valley region there, so I'm gonna go here. But yeah, it can be anywhere in that state really. I could not be surprised by it being over here or being close to Newcastle or something like that. And it was closer to Newcastle actually. Those poles entering into Mpumalanga there, and that's interesting. I think those poles should more or less be exclusive, but I guess that one's just somehow crept over the border, which is interesting. Unless I'm wrong, which you can tell me. Here we have a black Google car, which is interesting. Don't really recognize what that would be for. But let's take a look around. I think we zoom into that sign, we'll definitely figure out the country. But first things first, I can definitely tell it's North America based on this kind of like, Western-looking architecture mixed with the yellow center lines. And so we have this thing, which is most commonly found in the US. That would make more sense for this car, I think. So let's take a look around here. Red barns. Is that a palm? Interesting, because it feels fairly northern here. It feels kind of Canadian border kind of area. And it is Indiana, so it says Indiana on the sign there. Would have preferred to have vibe guessed it without that, but definitely you'd take those hints when you get them. So what else can we say here? This pole with the lower crossbar, you would see that in Manitoba, but not really too much elsewhere in Canada, I feel. But whereas in US, I guess it could be more common or can just be found around the spot. I'm not really sure. US pole metas haven't really been investigated, or if they haven't really come up with too much fruit, I think. So yeah, Indiana is the call here. Yeah, that's about it. I mean, that probably says the town name there, but yeah, oh no, south, north, yeah. Anyway, I don't really think that there's too much to say here. It is a little hilly for Indiana standards, so I am maybe thinking, well, I don't know where you get hills in Indiana. Certainly in the south, but I'm not really sure. I would assume this is very flat up there, so I might just guess like south of Indianapolis here. I feel like that would probably be the best shout here. Anything else to say? I mean, you could use right angle and everything like that, but, I can't really be bothered. Well, I can be bothered, I guess. I will go here. It's not the correct right angle even, so it's kind of lame, but let's go for it and see if we're right. And we kind of clicked off what would have been a better score, but still pretty good there. But obviously when you have the state, it's not too hard to guess. Next one here is a pretty obvious Taiwan. We can go quickly here because this has the Taiwanese pole bottom, which is orange and black all the way down to the ground, or yellow and black all the way down to the ground. Can we say anything else here? Kind of feels southern to me. I'm not really sure. I'm not really good at Taiwan, but this gives me a southern vibe, kind of this longer grass, very tropical feel. I will click south and we'll see if I'm right or not about that. And it was indeed in the north instead, so there we go. Not the best on Taiwan I am. Next one here, we are looking at UK-Ireland toss-up. Vague chance of France, but really should be UK-Ireland. Wooden pole, they both use those two countries. We do have this kind of architecture, which is like kind of cream painted with a black roof, very Irish. Rear plates don't appear to be yellow here, and this is a very, very, what would you say? I think this first name is very, what would you say, Irish. McGrath is actually, of course, Scottish, but again, we have a white number plate here. So thinking Ireland somewhere here. Generation 2 and Generation 4 are very common in Ireland. You will rarely see Generation 3, basically only in towns and stuff as well. So, yeah, I would say we just kind of click central here. Kind of gives me more of the north vibe, but I'm not really sure. I'll just go over here, and it will be right there. Well, excellent. We vibe guessed that completely correctly, which is good. Sure, Baba Binks will be impressed with us there. We get 23,400 there, so not a bad effort on today's seed. In fact, I think the Taiwan was actually the worst guess there, interestingly. So let's scroll down here. It seems like a lot of people scored really well here. 25 people above me, which is pretty good. But let's go down here to the bottom and scroll through to find some people with lower scores. Do give the video a like if you are enjoying it so far. That would be much appreciated. But in the meantime, let's just go down to the bottom here and see some people who got some worse scores here. So yeah, I'm going to look at these 18k people. Chupapi and Fraxo are the subjects for today. Let's check it out. So both of them missing the Indiana sign. That's kind of surprising. I thought more people would be getting that. Canadian guess really reasonable there. It did look a bit like Canada. However, that like orange topped bollard thing next to the road is mostly found in US. So yeah, that should really tip you over to US, even if it does look Canadian. As for the Ohio guess, pretty good. Yeah. If you didn't know it was on Indiana, that Ohio guess is probably where I would have gone, to be honest. So not bad. As for the Bolivia blue number plate, there is the big giveaway. It's the only country in South America to use blue text on the plate. Apart from that, those red brick buildings and that kind of like yellowish grass is very common around Titicaca. So yeah, I would say that's the landscape as well. As for this one, this is a bit of a harder round. So Lesotho doesn't have Generation 4 cameras, so you don't have to go there. This guess actually kind of makes more sense than this guess, in my opinion. But yeah, it had kind of like almost a subtropical vibe to it as well. Kind of like the kind of wetness to it. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, apart from that, it's a bit of pole knowledge and a bit of architecture knowledge there. Kind of smaller houses. I mean, like West Cape kind of has a bit more money, I feel. So, yeah. As for the Taiwan, they both did better than me, so we can really skip that. And as for yeah, we covered everything. Oh, yeah, and as for the Ireland, just click right there and you'll get 5k. But, yeah, good guesses. Okay, so let's move, or a bit hillier this side, I guess. Yeah, I saw some hills, so that's why it kind of changed over there last second. Let's head into region guessing, my favorite map here, and do some rounds on the 20 biggest countries in Geoguessr. So let's check it out here. First round, North America, clearly. We are driving right hand side of the road, and we have, I don't know, why do I think North America actually here? Well, this kind of feels like a richer fence, like a kind of wealthier country fence. We have like kind of a rolling landscape with a bunch of like trees here, which is interesting, because I think it's Canada, but you don't really see this landscape too often in the Great Plains, so we really have to be careful about where we guess here, I think. My instinct is kind of northern Alberta here. Reason being, like, Slave Lake, Grand Prairie kind of region here. I'm not really sure. Reason being, we have slight hills. We have quite a few trees, which you do get up there. And what else? I don't know. Like, it's just vibes. I feel like it's kind of this area here, maybe. Yeah, these kind of poles as well. I think you see the American version, like that we saw the last time, but I'm actually not sure if they're actually direct correspondence to those. Maybe even Northern Sask is possible here. We have a front plate, which is interesting. Could it even be Manitoba? Maybe it's actually just Manitoba. Front plate's a bit concerning, but remember, trucks travel a long way, so you can never trust a front plate too much, especially on a truck. Yeah, still going to go for my vibe here. But I can actually imagine someone guessing the wrong continent here. I guess the big thing is like kind of this grainy road as well. And the fact that it's very wide feels very American. Like the landscape kind of feels European. I cannot lie. If I'm looking at this, I may go Europe here, no lie. So kind of an interesting round, but let's see where it actually was. Okay, it was actually Alberta there. Very good. Someone gets the right road. It was actually going north to south, so that was pretty gettable. But to get the right province there is pretty good, I think. Okay, next round here. We move over to an interesting one here. Immediately, like Southeast Asian vibes with these kind of tiled roofs and banana plants and all that. So let's check out what we got going on the round here. Language-wise, like Bataan kind of suffix would make you think of like Malay, Indo, maybe even Philippines, something like that. Looks like we don't speak any English here, so definitely thinking more of like Indonesia or something like that. Yeah, so do we have any currency on this here? We don't seem to have any currency, which is interesting. But I'm still thinking Indonesia for sure. What about these pole tops? Yeah, black painted pole is quite Indonesian, but yeah, we don't really see anything conclusive here, I think. Tiled roofs would make me think just more of Java, but I could not say I could really rule out. I mean, it does look like a black Google car, which you mostly see in Indonesia. So yeah, I don't think I could rule out the others, but I would say Indonesia here is most likely. And if I was going Indonesia, I don't know. I don't know which side makes more sense here of Java. Could just see Jakarta, could just see like Surabaya. I might opt more for the Surabaya side here, but no real strong preference here. I'll go Surabaya area. Let's see it. And it was just kind of more central Java there, so again, not too bad. We get the right region, but yeah, not correct. Okay, this one's an interesting one. We got some learning to do here. So let's run through why exactly this is Canada. First things first, we got car glitch. This car glitch, where you can see a bit of the blue and white car and it's like all a bit messy, is common in many countries, but much, much more common in Canada than USA for whatever reason. Not sure why it is, but very good tip to know. Then also we got this yellow red line with a bit of white next to it. That is very commonly found in Saskatchewan, occasionally found in BC, Yukon. So yeah, good to know. Then also we have Saskatchewan poles here, where we've got one insulator on one side and two on the other side, then two on one side and one on the other side, and so forth and so forth. So yeah, those ones are very Saskatchewan, not so much found in other states or provinces, yes. Then we have quite a few trees here, so thinking maybe more so north of Saskatoon. The southern part of the province really has few trees. So that is kind of my thought here. Yeah, thinking this is correct. Might just go around Big River. Yeah, let's go Spirit Wood kind of area here. It is very east to west, which also fits for Saskatchewan, which is very much on a grid system. So let's go right there. Let's see if we're correct about the road. It was actually kind of much more south than I thought here. But yeah, you do get some trees around here, so that makes sense. So again, we're in the right region, just not quite clicking close enough. Okay, next one here is Russia. Generation 4 with like a bushfire coverage is very common in Russia, and that's what we have here. A lot of kind of thin trees, so indicating more northern latitude here. This is quite hilly, which is interesting. Do we have anything to go off of here? Very red soil as well. So generally speaking, when you have that bushfire coverage, okay, so the 3 bushfire coverage in Generation 4. There's one around Ulan Uda. This is too north because the trees are too thin. Then also we have it like running to Miani, and we also have it running out this direction towards Magadan. Look, it's hilly, so Magadan on the surface of it makes more sense, but I kind of think this is actually Miani side. Now, can we find any hills around here? I know it's quite flat, but yeah, around this kind of area there is some hilliness. So I kind of want to go Miani, because I feel like Miani, you really get like a very red sky and kind of red soil as well, maybe. So it's kind of my thought here. I don't know, it can just be Magadan. We'll see. It's going to be somewhere around there. And it was Miani area there. Very good. So we take a bit of a dub there. and pull a pretty good score. So let's head into the next round here. But yeah, I mean, they look pretty similar. Like the Magadan side is very mountainous, and this one just has some hills apparently, so that's good to know. Next one here, we are looking at some Brazilian poles here with the concrete sections, 1, 2, 3 sections at the bottom. These 1, 2, 3, you see? Okay, then we also have the white car with stubby antenna with these rings on it. Yeah, that is going to be somewhere in Latin America, and more specifically Brazil with these poles. Okay, so now we are looking at some very thin palms around the spot here. It's very grassy. It definitely gives me a very, like, Amazonian vibe. These are, like, quite Amazonian palms, like, often found near Maranhão as well, but, yeah, these ones as well. Okay, so we're looking at any small trees here. Yeah, so Amazon for sure. We also have, like, very thin poles here, which is often found in Acre. So I am thinking Acre is most likely here, maybe even, like, pretty far out or something like that. Yeah, this is difficult, though. I can say this is very difficult. We have a wooden stilts house that's also very Acre, but yeah, you can see that all over the Amazon, so we do have to consider here. I like Acre best here, I think. Yeah. Anything else to say? So yeah, similar landscapes can be found, like maybe like in around Maraba, or like around maybe even not quite Belém, but yeah, we do kind of have a few Maranhão palms here, but I think I have to go against them. You do see them, I believe, in Acre as well. Yes, slight hilliness too, but doesn't really help too much, I think. It's an interesting round. I think we should go where my heart says, which is Acre here. And it was indeed just in Amazonas, but yeah, pretty much Acre, Amazonas. You would normally see thicker poles in Amazonas, but those were just some Acre poles. So yeah, Brazil's quite inconsistent with metas, and we get 19k there on a very difficult seed, I would say. 2 Canadas, a Russia, an Argentina, Indonesia, and a Brazil are basically the biggest countries of Geoguessr. So yeah, pretty much. So yeah, we can be proud of 19k there, and let's see how people screwed up here. We actually got third, so I'm gonna give myself a bit of a pat on the back for that one. Pretty good seed there, but let's check out how people did a little bit further down the leaderboard here. Kind of curious to see. And let us just scroll down here and see what people have got going on here. So I think that should be enough here. We're already down to 9,000. So let's actually pick someone who got a bit more of an idea here. Primolds and Shiftless Drifter will be our 2 people here. Good guesses here, actually. So the one near Yakutsk and the one near Magadan both make sense. I think red soil here is pretty common and less so common over here. So that was my main thought there. As for the Alberta, we had one in southern Sask and one in Minnesota, both seeming to be decent guesses to me. I don't know. I could not even tell you what exactly gave me the Alberta vibe there, but it just felt quite nice rolling landscape, which you see more so in the province of Alberta. Then we had one guy really close here, guessing the same place twice really paid off, and we had another US guess here, but from the different guy actually. Oh, interesting. So that guy, okay, they had very similar avatars here. That's what the problem is. That's actually funny. But okay, one guy going in Missouri for that one, and one guy going in southern Sask. Yeah, so Sask making more sense there with the white little bit on the road line and the camera glitch. So yeah. Okay, and then we had the Brazil. We had avatar number 1. Oh, okay, they are looking slightly different here. Now I can say one guy's got a blue shirt. So blue shirt going in Marabá, which actually I think is one of the regions that was possible. Piranha makes definitely less sense there. You wouldn't see like a wooden stilts house there, nor would you see like kind of palms just lining the whole kind of field. It's kind of definitely more of an Amazonian thing to see. Then we had 2 Java guesses here. We also had a North Sula guess. Yeah, too many like tiled roofs there. Apart from that, it's not a bad guess, but yeah, I mean it was urban. Indonesia. You just kind of have to rely on the roofs a bit, and that's what worked. And then that is it. So, guys, thank you very much for watching the video all the way to the end. Hopefully this one was helpful to you. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it as well. And smash a like. I'll see you guys in tomorrow's video. Till next time, and goodbye.